Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in again with Ms. Nita for State Board Procedures. Today, we'll have a demonstration on the State Board Set comb out. I'd like to introduce to you all the implements and tools that we'll be using on today. First, I'll start off with our detangling comb, all-purpose comb, tail comb, brush, butterfly clips, roller clips, pin curl clips, yellow rollers only for State Board Set comb out. Yellow rollers only. Applicator rolling brush, water, hand sanitizer, alcohol. I also have additional gel and roller clips and pin curls. I've already sanitized my area, so at this time, before I start on my mannequin, I will sanitize my hands. For State Board procedures, when you go to State Board, you must always implement sanitizing your hand and disinfecting the area, because they look at your mannequin as if you're having a live client. I've already gelled the mannequin. The purpose of gelling the mannequin is so that the hair can adhere on the roller securely. I've already sectioned everything. This particular set comb out will include 2 rows of pin curls and a Bricklay Roller Set. You all will see how the diagram is on the Bricklay Roller Set. However, let me just grab this for a second. This is a basic roller set. When everything's aligned, it's a basic roller set. As you all can see, all the rollers are in a row. That won't be the case when we're dealing with our set comb out. Everything will be staggered. You'll see that at the end of the roller set. Now, at this time, I would like to instruct you all to use either your all-purpose comb or your tail comb will be sufficient for the pin curls. I started the parting right below the ear, maybe a ½ inch below the ear. After that, as you can see, I've divided that into 2 sections. So this is going to be our creative set. You want to make certain that the hair stays moist, that allows the hair to move easily. So I'm going to start from either side. You can start from left or right, it doesn't matter. And start executing the pin curl. Using a little gel to start making my on-base pin curl. Now further to my right, I have a visual board. Now the visual board tells us about the on-base pin curl. It's a no-stem pin curl, and that will be the first one right here. That's what we'll be doing, our on-base pin curl for these first 2 rows. After that's completed, then we'll begin our Bricklay Roller Set with the yellow rollers. Again, only yellow rollers. Now, you can either, when executing your pin curls, and when I say executing, I mean when you're getting ready to form it, you want to make certain that you have enough gel. You can either use the riveting technique. That's when you place the hair between the back of your comb and your thumb, in between the comb and your thumb. And what that does, it positions the hair to make the tail smaller at the end, so that you can make the circle that, once you've completed it, it makes a pin curl. We all know that pin curls have 3 parts to it. It's the base curl and the stem. As I progress with these pin curls, you want to make sure that the circle, what creates the pin curl, are the same size. And on base, it goes on the base of the nape area, the scalp, not the neck. Also, I would like to share with you all that pin curls takes the place of a roller. If you don't have a roller available, you can always use a pin curl. If you put them on a particular base, you can get the same type of curl that you would get with the roller. However, the roller lasting curls than pin curls. Also, I'd like to share with you some information as to when you go to state board, you must make certain that the pin curls and the roller set are properly done and secured. They're going to judge you on how your roller set looks and how your pin curl looks. So I've already done one row, but I do want to share this with you all. When you're making your pin curls, do not leave a tail out on it. That little thing staying hanging right there, that's considered to be a tail. So make sure when you're executing the curl to complete your pin curl, all of that is included in the circle and nothing's hanging out. When you're executing this procedure, as I said, the more precise things look like, because when you're doing anything, any type of style with the hair, you want to have balance, you want to make certain that everything looks good. So the same thing when you're doing your state board procedures. This mannequin is as if you were styling a live client. We have 3 bases of types of pin curls: on base, half base, and off base. And all of those do a specific type of curl when you use either one of them. At the end of the video, I will refer to my visual board, which is to the right, to let you all know how the pin curl should look when it's on base, half base, or off base. Let me adjust my mannequin. Also, when you go to state board after you've completed your set, you will be combing it out at state board. Again, they're going to be grading you on how it looks, the set and the pin curls. And your mannequin, the set has to be completely dry. Well, why do you say that, Ms. Nita? Because you won't be able to comb it out properly if it's not thoroughly dry. So I always suggest to my students that you do this particular set comb out, this phase of your test for state board, 2 days ahead of time. Now, that's how the roll should look. The pin curls all should be pretty much the same size. I like to put my pin curls sideways, but it's okay if you have them at the bottom. You want everything to be uniform and looking very neat. Again, if you notice, I've sectioned the mannequin. Sectioning is very important when you're executing a hairstyle. I had already detangled it. If I would have done my roller set first, I would have had complications doing the pin curls underneath the bottom. So always do your pin curls first. Now, the Bricklay Roller Set. Let me use a little bit of my water here so the hair can maneuver as I needed to. As you see, I've already had it pre-parted. All these things are advantages when you're doing something at state board because they time you for everything. To be certain that you have it in the middle, you want to put it on the bridge of the nose, bring it up to the center, placing the roller on the hairline, and parting behind. Now what that does is allow you to have the correct portion or amount of hair every time you use the roller. Now, 90 degrees on my visual board here, 90 degrees is also considered to be vertical. And it also gives you a half base roller set. All of these rollers have to be set vertically at a 90-degree angle. Each roller. And that gives us a half off base set. So I'm going to smooth that roller, making sure that everything's nice and smooth on the roller. Holding it at a 90-degree angle. That gives me a half base positioning. And I'm going to secure my roller. Now after I've done that first roller, I like to just section this particular part around the hairline out. And once I've sectioned it, I'm going to place my roller, getting the correct amount of hair that goes on the roller, and I'm going to be doing all the rolls around the hairline, again at a 90 degree. And remember, as I said, do this ahead of time, because when you use the gel to make your set look really nice, it takes a long time to dry. And as I said, it has to be thoroughly dry, completely dry, because you're going to have to style this at State Board. You're going to have to style it by making sure that it has enough cushion to back comb. You won't be able to tease it, back combing, which is the same thing, without it being thoroughly dry. Placing my roller, making sure that I have the correct amount of hair on the roller. Still position it out at a 90 degree. 90 degree differs at every reference point of the head. It changes when the shape of the head changes. Now after I've completed around the hairline, ladies and gentlemen, that's when I'm going to start executing the Bricklay. And again, the Bricklay is just a staggered set. This is just one of the sets you can do at State Board, because they ask you to do a creative set. And a creative set lies within you. But this is the one that I teach my students because it's easier to do. Now, as you can see, I did around the hairline. Now I'm going to divide this in half. Once I divide it in half, it allows me to start staggering that roller, giving it that look. A staggered roller set. Again, as you can see, I'm placing it at a 90 degree. Don't forget to do that. Never change that, because when you go to State Board, they can easily look at it. They're very experienced there to see if you have done your set comb out at a 90 degree. And the good thing about it is when you go there, you won't have to do this set. It's already completed when you get there. However, they do give you 20 minutes to do the comb out. And again, the comb out will consist of using your teasing comb, which comes in your kit. You want the set to look nice in uniform, because when you go to State Board, you're going there to prove to them that you have been properly trained to become a professional. You want to have nice straight partings. You want to have all the hair on the roller, not hanging off the sides of the grooves of the roller. The grooves of the roller, they're there for a purpose. When you start having the feeling that, with the hair going over the sides on that, just re-roll that particular portion of hair. Always use the complete roller. Don't just roll the hair in the center of the roller. That would be incorrect. And also, it would take forever to dry, because the hair would be positioned in one spot and not evenly over the roller. And also, one of the advantages of having a Bricklay Roller Set, it allows you to have less partings in the hair, because everything, the rollers are not aligned like they are with the basic roller set that I showed you earlier. If you have everything gelled properly, you won't have a problem keeping everything moist with your water. Having your setup makes everything most efficient for you, because everything's right there at your fingertips. Now, if you notice, I started off with the single roller in the middle, then I divided it in half. I'm going to do that same technique throughout the completion of this roller set. And this is what's called a Bricklay Roller Set. So now I'm going to place it behind the two where I divided it. Using my roller to measure the width, and also parting behind it as I did before, making certain that I have the correct amount of hair on the roller. And that's the purpose, again, of parting behind the roller. I'm going to go to the side. All of this allows my roller set to stay uniform. Okay? I'll caught a little bit hair in between there. But all of this takes practice. I want you all to know, because we constantly have students, freshman students, which is a good thing. Freshman students mean that we're constantly having new students enroll. So I don't want either of my students, especially the freshman students, to get discouraged when we're learning these phases that we're going to be tested on at State Board. Now, I place those there. I'm going to come back and secure them, and make sure that your roller clip is in the center of your roller once you're attaching it. Make certain that you're using the correct roller clip and not a pin curl clip, because all of that makes a difference at State Board. Again, I'm going to divide the hair. This is what keeps the Bricklay style setting right here by me dividing the hair. Portioning it, making sure I have the correct amount. So it's pretty much like 1, 2, 1, 2, as you can see. Making sure that it is 90-degree angle, not having any hair sticking out. That's why it's always good to make certain that you have your mannequin cut correctly. I've given all my students the best length for each of the phases that they're going to be taking at State Board. Again, this particular one that I'm showing you today is the roller set coma. Now here, and oftentimes you can find rollers that are half size if you need to get in those really tight areas. Again, keeping it at a 90-degree. Using my roller clip, making certain that it's clipped in the center. All of those things make a difference. This is something that won't be timed for as your roller set, because again, you will be going to State Board with it already set and dry. You want to make sure that you have it really dry, because if not, that's going to count against you and you won't be able to, let me move that a little bit, you won't be able to dry it at State Board. Make sure that your set is accurate, meaning what makes it accurate is making sure that you have the correct amount of hair on the roller. Now, this would be my last one. Keeping it at a 90-degree. And as I said again, when you're doing a bricklay, it allows you not to have all those partings to deal with, because nothing is in a row aligned as a basic roller set. I want to make certain that all my rollers are in the mannequin head very securely, because the way that you put it in the dryer, if it's incorrect, it's going to dry incorrect. Now, at this time, this is the completion. Let me do a little wipe off, and that's good to do at State Board too. Make sure you have everything wiped off and the face clean, no tails hanging. Look at it, because the examiner, whomever's giving you the test, they will be looking at those things. Is there any tails hanging from your pin curls? Again, these are on-base pin curls. The roller set was done at a 90-degree angle. As you can see, it's staggered. None of the rollers are in a row. At this time, I'd like to sit it here and position it next to the basic roller set so you all can see what's the different type of set with a bricklay opposed to the basic. All right? So that's my Bricklay roller set for our State Board set comb out. It has to be completely dried. When you bring it to state board, you're already going to do this set at home. Once you get to state board, they're going to look at the appearance of the set, making certain that it's on a 90-degree angle. Also, they want to look at your pin curls, make certain that all of them are uniform. If they're on base, these are on base pin curls. Again, I had introduced to you all the tools and the implements that we are using, so you'll be able to execute that cushion. In my next edition, I'll be showing you how to create the cushion and comb out the set comb out. Again, I have my visual board over here. It indicates what's diagonal, and it gives you a 45-degree off base, diagonal forward, 135-degree on base, vertical, up and down, 90-degree, horizontal, which is straight across. And lastly, I'd like to introduce to you all the no stem, half stem, and full stem to those of you who may not be familiar. The visual board is a great asset to those who may not be familiar with the angles are. So this is why I try to share the most information with you. And this is also why I say, learning easy in a minute with Miss Nita, State Board Procedures. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope to see you on our next video. Bye. Now we have completed our roller set comb out. As I'm rotating it, you can see where the rollers are in a bricklay fashion with 2 rows of pin curls using only yellow rollers. This completes our roller set comb out. Hi everyone. This is the continuation of the roller set comb out. It's dried thoroughly. I'm removing the pin curl clips from the 2 rows of pin curls. After I do that, I'm going to work my way up to removing the rollers. Again, yellow rollers only for this state board procedure. You are to create a creative roller set. This creative roller set consists of 2 rows of pin curls, on base pin curls, and a 90-degree, which gives us a half off base roller set. Once I take it out, I'm going to show you how to build the cushion that's required to have in this roller set, from teething with our teasing comb. Now, the first thing I would like for you to do is get your brush. It's much easier than combing it out with your comb. It also helps with the parting. This way I think it helps with you to have less partings in the hair when you use the brush. Sometimes you'll see a little dust popping up because of the gel has dried. But all that gives you a nice firm curl once you have allowed it to dry completely, which takes between anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. This is another situation that can occur at state board. If your mannequin stand gets a little loose, just stop and secure it. And sometimes your mannequin may even fall on the floor, but don't be discouraged, just continue. The examiners are watching you and they see that you're working diligently. So just be professional and continue on if something like that should occur. It's unfortunate, but sometimes it does happen. Now, once I've combed out the 2 rows of pin curls, I want to take a section, comb it through using my teasing comb. I want to lift the hair up really tight, put some tension on it, stick the comb in the inside, and start building that cushion. And that's what's going to cover up if there's any spaces in the hair. Leave a small amount of hair to cover up your cushion, because remember, you're going to be creating a style. So that's the way that looks, nice and fluffy. And do this section until it's complete. And we're just going to work ourselves all the way up, building this cushion. See how that cushions look? And also covering up the parlings. That's the way we do it. Leaving a small portion of hair to cover up the cushion that we build. And remember, you're styling the hair. So make sure you style it, make it look nice as you go along. At State Board, this particular phase of the test, roller set, comb out, takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And this is what they're looking for. They want to see that cushion, that hair standing out, no spaces, no roller spaces, no roller marks. Getting that hair in there. 20 minutes. So as you're going, you're preparing this hair. You're styling it as you go along. See, I have the cushion, the nice firmy bouncy cushion that lets you know that you're doing it correct, but it's not a really curly style that sticks out. You'll see that, what I mean, after I complete it. As you can see the style but the curl that was created from the roller. But we want to comb that out, lift this up with some tension, really tight, and stick our teasing comb in there and prepare that cushion, build that cushion up. Covering up our spaces as we go along, taking the remainder part of the hair, pulling it, covering it, blending it to the previous part of the hair. So I'm not leaving this curly like I have it on top. So I want you all to know the difference from that. Let's continue on. Covering up your spaces. That's what they're going to be looking for. They don't want you to have any spaces in between there. They want to be able to feel that cushion, blending that hair in together. You see what I'm doing? Creating a nice style, blending that in together nice and smoothly. Once I get to the front, that's usually a little complicated area sometime, because you have to tease that area also, but you also have to make it look like a style that someone would pay you for. You just don't want it looking like a bird's nest. Moving your mannequin around. Again, this is why we practice this a lot within our 1,500 hours, doing our practicals, because it's a number of things that you have to do when you're creating a style. It's not as if your mannequin's a live person who's going to turn the head for you, or that you have a chair. So you're going to be able to maneuver it as need be. Also, making sure it looks good. Now, I always recommend that it's a certain length that you want to keep the hair. And I think about maybe 4 inches is very good. Got our cushion going on. If you were here to feel it, you can feel how nice and tight that is with that cushion. This is about my 3rd row that I'm going to. Remember, it's just 20 minutes, so you really want to work really efficiently. Turning my mannequin. And I like to say that because you can't do this by having your mannequin in one spot all the time. So that's that cushion that's right there, and it's nice and firm. I want to take it and cover up some of the areas where it's showing. And then I want to just take this piece and just blend it in there. You're creating a style. Everyone's style can be different, but you do want that cushion to be present. That's what they're looking for. And you get that from using your teasing comb, leaving a part of the hair out to cover up that teasing area, and just move along. This is a very popular style. Most of the time, A lot of our seniors get this backcombing style. But you do use it when you ever want the hair to be heightened in any area. If you're doing a roller wrap and you might want the hair heightened around the crown, this technique can be used for that as well. That's why you always have to prepare your mannequins knowing what the lengths are so you won't run into any problems with creating this particular style. And again, I'm talking about teasing and backcombing. They will be able to tell that hair is supposed to sit out there and look puffed up, but yet nice in a nice blended style. Everything covered. In this particular case, you can move your mannequin to whatever angle that you need to move it, covering up those spaces, backcombing sometimes some of the previous area, doing what it takes to create this style as nice as possible. And when we're talking about hairstyling, we're talking about balance. We just don't want it to look like something that you just tease and doesn't have any form to it. Cosmetologists know how to balance the style according to their client's facial shape. That's very important. What style may work for me may not work for my client. So I have to analyze that facial shape. Again, teasing is very necessary to know how to do when there's certain styles that your client may request. So when you all get ready to go to state board, you're familiar. See how I built that up? That's some nice cushion right there. And again, I leave out a portion of the hair to smooth and cover it. And I'm going to show you how to style it to make it look good through balancing what you've already done. Now the front has to have it teased and balanced out as well. As I said, it has to look like a style that someone would pay you for. And of course it doesn't look like that in the beginning because you know why? I'm not complete yet. But once I finish it, it will look nice. You have to know how to direct the hair where it complements the client's facial shape. And you may say, oh, is that going to be complicated for my client to get shampooed out? No, it's not. Because all you have to do is when you wet it, by the time they get ready to get their hair shampooed again, that hair, that cushion is going to be deflated somewhat over a period of time by them sleeping on it, going out into the environment, different things like that. And just by bending the hair, making a little indentation here or there, gives it a more creative look. Covering up that cushion so it won't be able to be seen, and making sure that it's balanced at the bottom and top, backcombing it still. And believe me, this is very popular with a certain age group. They love this style. So you want to make sure that everything's balanced at the bottom, creating that cushion, making it look really nice in the front. Packing it down where it needs to be packed down. And that's pretty much our look. our comb out. Get a little balance over here. All right. That's the way it looks. And you want to make sure everything's covered up in the back. You got that cushion going on and the balance. Everything's going on. It's not a curly look. You can directional shape the hair, making sure everything's balanced, blended. As I said, someone wants to pay you for this, so you want it to look nice and balanced and even. So that's the completion of our set comb out. We give you a little look as it go around. If you see that where that cushion is showing again, just take a little bit more and just cover it up. Set comb out, stay for it. Thank you all. See you next time for our stay for procedures.